Hi there.
Welcome, Anna.
Thank you, Karen. It's
Hi,
good to see
Karen.
you.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Did I miss the agenda in the mail?
It did come, I sent it out on Friday.
Huh, okay,
It should be posted online.
okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. But you know,
Did you get it, Jeff?
Yes,
Okay.
and it is online. If you go to the city website,
all righty.
Okay, have we gotten the fire?
hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey.
Hi, neighbor.
Hello, neighbor.
We just found that out. That's so funny. Yeah.
Hey, text by the way.
I forgot to
Yeah.
bring it on you. And Elizabeth, I just came into the office about a half hour ago, so I haven't got a chance to respond to you, but I
Totally good.
message received.
It was kind of like on the last, I was thinking of like, what am I gonna do? And I'm like, you know what? So it's where we're at.
Yeah,
I know.
I get it.
Spring, lots of stuff coming up. Oh,
Okay, Paul, I don't know.
who's here?
Not. I know. Or I knew everyone else was gonna attend in person, but I'm not sure. We can give another minute or two.
Does anybody else do one of these? I take one.
Take it.
Thank you.
I actually like them. They put it forward and I think so.
After spring break.
It was on, so John and Pam, I'm really
Need.
not sure. if
John
John,
usually says something. They both usually say.
Yeah.
when they're gonna
Michael.
Show up.
Michael's off the committee, he stepped down.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Well, we've got a quorum, so we can go ahead and get started and then
Sounds good.
just to, I think this should be a short one, so, move along. Okay, start with, approval of the February 26th minutes. I have not gotten those typed up yet. Been a busy month, so we'll punt those till April.
Okay.
Um,
It's a big job, so thank you.
yes, thank you.
Oh, here.
And it looks like we have a visitor. Would you, yeah, Karen, is she a visitor? Or you?
No.
Yes.
This is staff, Vera Cavado.
Staff.
Oh, your staff.
Yes.
Well,
Sometimes I
I
zoom
see.
in, sometimes Sean just takes.
Mind if I
it
sit
for
down?
that.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
Plenty of seats.
No, I know that Webster and Wheels is later in your agenda, so I won't
Yes.
talk about it a lot. Only to say that bicycling is a major sustainable activity in and of itself. And this year it's really interesting because Webster and Wheels is always the first Sunday in May, so that's May the 5th. May is actually National Bike Month, which I never knew that. And for the first time ever, the school district is gonna have on Friday, May the 3rd, Bike to School Day.
Oh,
We
good.
never had, and so it's a great lead in to May. Which leads what I'm really here to talk about, just to plant the seed. Is we've been working on a concept called the sustainables, which is borrowed from the movie The Incredibles, the name, but it's called The Sustainables. It's a kids club devoted to, from their standpoint, to help the community become a more sustainable community. It originated with myself, Jamie, hey, Hasmeyer, and Eric Hayes, who's a sustainability teacher at Dixon. We met twice at Dixon. And then at the end of the second meeting, we got looked at each other and said, this is a kids club. You know, what are we doing as adults trying to define what kids want? So to make a long story short, we got kids involved, and we were inspired in particular by one kid, Rex Zoswick. He's a 10-year-old at a fifth grader at Avery. Rex has always liked, he's like Greta Thunberg a little bit. He's always believed in practice environmentalism. But he watched a documentary at Avery on the plastics in the oceans. And he told me later, he said, Mr. Buck, it made me really mad. And so he went home and on his own, he wrote a message on a piece of typing paper in his own handwriting. The message was, no more plastic in Webster. It is poisoning our earth, in his own handwriting. He made 60 copies, and then Rex did not have his parents drive him around in a car. He rode his bike and he got his dad's staple gun and he stapled it up on 60 telephone poles around Webster. Now, I'm not a real Facebook fan, but people on Facebook saw the notes and posted it, and fabulous comments from parents saying this is the greatest thing. So what the Sustainables is going to do is bikes are obviously going to be primary to the mode of transportation. But kids are going to post, per Rex's inspiration, positive environmental messages around town. Now, we wanted to put them on telephone poles like Rex, but I checked with Greg Perks, and there's an unfortunate ordinance that says you can't do it or they'll get torn down. So what we're doing, and this is Rex's idea, he said, why don't we go to the different businesses and just like they put up event posters and stuff in their windows, have them put up these signs in their windows, they'll be protected from the elements. And so that's how this initiative is going to start. It's not going to end there because Rex himself is big into plastic, anti-plastic. But I've talked to Schnucks already, and they're, I think, on board to help us, start this new adventure. And with any new idea, and I have a marketing background, there's 4 steps: awareness, knowledge, interest, and action. And so what we're going to be doing, starting with Webster on Wheels, is starting to gain awareness and plant the seed of this program. Then hopefully it'll build, do some stuff in the summertime, and then really hit it hard with the schools come the fall. But I'm just an advisor. I mean, this is a kid-driven proposition. Right now, we are not, and they are not wanting or seeking any endorsement or money from the city. It's no different than the events I put on during the year. We do it just on our own. And this could be a kid-driven proposition, and the kids are gonna direct it. In fact, this is our symbol. It was done by 8th grader Audrey Jackson, who lives on Ron Belleville off Rock Hill Road. And she did this herself, and this is our symbol. And so it's gonna be a kid-driven thing. And I think we got a lot to learn from kids. And this Rex kid, he's a cute little kid, man, and he's really bright. And he just loves environmentalism. And it's like, kids are the hope of the world. It's like, let's let these kids run with it, and I think it'll be great. So I'm gonna be a bystander and help them along. They need a little funding, I'll give them a little funding, it's not much, but it's like, it's gonna be great. So,
All right,
Love
Yeah,
it.
great.
That's
so thank you
awesome.
for the time to.
Yeah, no,
Let me
thanks.
explain it.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Sounds. So is this affiliated with the middle school club or just independent?
This is totally independent right now.
Okay,
And part of it is because there are other schools in Webster Groves beyond just school district schools. I mean, it's college school, which is big time into sustainability, environmentalism, and I've not talked to them, and the kids haven't talked to them. That's interesting. Rex lives over by the college school, and those kids that go to the college school. But then you got Mary Queen of Peace, you got Holy Redeemer, I mean, there are other schools that we can tie into.
okay, great. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for that.
Great.
Okay, now that it's like we have everyone here that's going to be here, I just wanted to welcome, is it Anna or Anna?
Anna.
Anna Carion.
Yes.
Carion.
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting it. To the commission I think it was your introduction to us at the solar event. Oh, no, I'm sorry,
Yes, you came
you
before.
came to talk to us about composting
Yes.
and then attended the solar event.
Yes, yes. And then the Eco Ed series.
Right,
the
right.
use of those.
So you dove right in, huh?
Did, yes.
We're really glad to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited about the opportunity and the timing couldn't have been better.
Yeah, we're.
Yeah.
So, not to put you on the spot, but, your interest in sustainability, is there any interesting backstory to that or?
Well, it's probably similar to Rex. It started in grade school and then environmental club in high school and then working on an organic farm in college and taking a composting class and then had a vegetable garden and composting ever since. And then in 2016, 2017, I worked at True Manufacturing. And they have a pretty robust sustainability committee. They're working toward zero waste. And carbon free footprint. And so I was on the committee there for about a year. And my recent interest was sparked by an article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch in January, I believe, about commercial composting operations, which I'd heard of a few of them. But it made me think about kind of the common thread for all of them, which is the micro hauling aspect of it.
Mhm.
And it led me to wonder, why can't we have an operation here closer to home?
Right.
Since I think, some of them don't service Webster and one that does hauls the compost to St. Peter's Earthway Center. So it's a little bit of a ways.
Right. Right.
Which led me to call and speak to Mara in zoning, and she reviewed the ordinances with me, and we discovered that there is no commercial composting allowed in Webster.
Right.
And she said, why don't you go visit the Sustainability
Okay.
Commission? And they may be able to talk to you about, why that is and perhaps how to go about changing it. And that's kind of what prompted my latest visit.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up is Councilmember Bliss. Chief, do you have any updates?
I have a bunch of things. I went to the National League of Cities Congressional Conference, which was basically the National League of Cities is kind of an advocacy organization, you could say. They basically help municipalities access the federal government in various ways. So one of the highlights is they have boot camps and webinars with training. And the big thing right now is getting access to the federal funding from the infrastructure bill. And we got, we attended a boot camp for Safe Streets for All, and that's where we got the money. So it's through the National League of Cities. They assisted in that process. And so we've got 2.7 million for planning and demonstration projects in the city. So that is a major plus just from the National League of Cities. But additionally, I was there for 4 days, went to conferences pretty solidly for 4 days. And then the 5th day was, we went to the Hill. I focused on sustainability and economic development in the sessions I attended. So I went to several things, but I just wanted to tell you, talking about composting, waste management on Earth Day is starting a initiative on recycling. The launch is gonna be nationwide. And I can get you more details I've gotten written down there, but that's one thing that they are working on with that. Here is some information on Soul Smart, which is a solar program. Let's see what else. This is a, they're doing the infrastructure hub right now. It's about brownfields. I know we don't have the capacity to work on anything, but I thought that was cool that they are doing an initiative on brownfields and cleaning up multi-purpose grants for that. And then finally, on Hill Day, we had several talking points that the NLC put together for us. And our Missouri delegation went to see Josh Hawley's staff, Senator Eric Schmidt's staff, and Corey Bush. And so my flight left before we saw Corey Bush, but I saw the two senators and their staff, and my messaging, I had a talking point was about PFAS, which are polyfluoro
Urine.
substance,
Yeah.
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 Anyway, they are inherent materials, they're contaminants from plastic manufacturing and different coatings and all sorts of things like that. Teflon, fire extinguishers, so there is a bill on the floor that would basically strip away the municipality's rights, or strip away the municipality's protection for third-party lawsuits that would come against, let's say, DuPont or any of the manufacturers stuff. So that was my messaging I talked about. They've got $40 million that they're gonna be putting toward cleanup of those contaminants around the country. So I'm just gonna give that to you as well.
Speaking of those, I have thought about this frequently and always forgotten to bring it up. We should check to see what our fire department uses, but there's two different foams and one of them does not have PFAS. And so it would be
Oh, listen.
something that would maybe be beneficial for our community to switch to the non-toxic one. if we
Right.
can. I mean, less toxic. I'm sure they're all toxic, but
What else? I mean, I could go into it more about some of, all the agencies spoke in one of the meetings, all the environmental related ones, agriculture, parks. And they all talked about all the grants that are available, and it is many, so.
What, I was curious, what if anything you learned about the funding availability through the IRA or infrastructure law for cities like Webster? I know, like, it seems like big cities have a lot of staff and a lot of
Mhm.
resources to dump into just the navigating the bureaucracy, whereas smaller municipalities, it's a challenge.
Right, so then they go, that money is coming through all the different agencies, and then they all spoke to what their specific grants were. Some of them had a lot of them were geared towards social justice and underprivileged communities. To bring those up to where those of us who are lucky enough to live in a nicer environment. And then some of those had no parameters at all. So like I said, I did take a bunch of notes. But we've got the Safe Streets for All, we've got some other things going on right now, but yeah, it was basically, you can call NLC, you can get involved. They have a whole sustainability branch, and they post office hours once a month that help, give you ideas. There's webinars and boot camps. So it's
Right.
basically, we could just pick an initiative that we wanted to work on and then just see what they have that help us with that.
Right, okay.
So it's kind of a menu, pick anything you want. Smorgasbord.
I remember Mayor Arnold mentioned a couple other issues that were on the table there
Yeah.
involved with sustainability, and one I think was permeable
Yes.
surfaces,
Mhm.
which I thought was kind of timely since we have Prop S coming up on the ballot,
Yes,
which
which is
will-
the stormwater and wastewater.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, and it has to do with commercial businesses that have non-permeable surfaces will be required to pay fines
Hmm.
for those.
we've talked with Mara a few times about surface area on, for residential lots and trying to figure out a ratio for that. We have one for solid surfaces, but haven't really quite gotten to the.
It seemed the
Permeable
last vote,
surfaces.
the plan commission. Right, am I correct with the
Yeah.
last vote that the plan commission did not feel it was an appropriate time for Webster to have permeable requirements?
They've basically been rewriting all the code, and so I think they've been prioritizing and going through the list of what they've been working on.
But I think
But you can
Mara
push
is an
back.
advocate for the permeable
Yeah,
requirements,
Mhm.
so.
someone's there.
So, yeah, maybe in the near future, we
Mm-hmm.
can keep making progress.
And question, Ann, did you say the Prop S, is that the MSD proposal that's to be on the April ballot?
I believe so, yes.
So were it to pass, would that generate funds where MSD could defray some of the costs for businesses or homeowners that do that, or? how
That's a
do you think it
great
works?
question. My sense that it was more to just penalize businesses that have asphalt and concrete with no permeability. And I don't know what, the objective is or what the outcome would be.
And do you know, does it impact nonprofits like schools, or is it just for profit?
I'm not sure. But I could find out more information.
Yeah, it seems given the flooding we have when it rains, be interesting, is the flood study done, or whatever it's called, the
The water, that would be a.
Stormwater
direct
master
question.
plan?
Yeah.
bingo?
We've gotten our surveys back from the residents, the consultant is working on putting the data together. All of this is on public property right now. We did not get any complaints from private property. It's sort of surprising, but we're focusing our efforts. We're getting a draft capital improvement project plan for review. The submissions come in any day now, so we'll do the review and determine how to prioritize these projects, and then obviously funding for the projects. So it's work in progress. Working along with that.
So the report is near done, but it's not done, but it'll be released soon.
Well, when I say release, so probably, I'm currently reviewing the capital projects draft. Currently the draft for the city to review and evaluate. And then once we see this list of projects with flooding issues on streets, we will have to determine how to prioritize these issues. And I'm not sure exactly how we're gonna prioritize if it's something that affects the most residents, schools. There are a lot of things we take into consideration. We haven't gotten that part of prioritization of these projects. And I got a partial submittal on Friday and I have not had a chance to even dive into it yet.
MSD is doing public hearings for the next week, I believe. There's one almost every day, and you can attend in person or with a Zoom link. So I did listen in on one this morning. And there was a room for question and answer at the end. They did not address that question that you asked, but I'm sure they would if you attended and posed it.
Thanks.
Sure.
All right. Okay, next we'll go to Sean, staff liaison update.
Yeah, sure. So I thought it would be a good time to just brief you guys on what's been going on with the greenhouse gas inventory. So, and I'm not sure if I even explained from the beginning, but basically there's two tracks to this inventory. One focuses on
it's the government track, so it's focused on the actions that, you know, by departments within the city that we carry out, and so the buildings that we own and we work out of. The other track is community-wide, and so that takes into consideration all of you and lots and the vehicles you drive, population size. And so it's basically a master hunt for data from our utilities. So for the community track, you know, I'm reaching out to Ameren, Laclede, Missouri American Water, MSD, Waste Management, by state development for public transit data, the Missouri Department of Transportation for to calculate the emissions from the trains that travel through Webster Groves. That's been interesting, trying to get people to pick up the phone. Also, we also use Google. Google has a platform called EIE. I should remember off the top of my head what that stands for, but I don't. But anyway, Google and their satellites are able to help municipalities calculate emissions from vehicular transportation. So, and it's not, you have to have a municipal email address and you have to be granted access. So it's not just open information to the public, but Google is even helping us calculate some of this. And then for the government track, it's all of those utilities that we use in the community. Plus, we also look at all of the vehicles, our fleet vehicles here. We also, I'm creating a survey for Webster Groves employees to take regarding their commutes, how far away they drive, what kind of fuel their car takes, those kinds of things. Yeah, so it's been interesting. The latest is just to give you an example of some of the stuff. So several of these utilities have given me information on the community aspects, but then for the government, they're like, you'll have to log into your profile online. So it's just a big hunt for data, really. And then we work with ICLEI, which ICLEI is an international organization that was really born out of the UN, but their greenhouse gas inventory software is called ClearPath. And that's pretty much the standard for municipalities across the United States and overseas as well, for these sorts of inventories. And so ClearPath is the software we use. And like you guys know, SIUE is who Dr. Sharon Locke is really the subject matter expert. She's done a number of these for different munis in the St. Louis region. And we've got a great grad student who's helping us. But yeah, that's kind of just an overview of what it is. The rail aspect has been, and I just was working on that most recently, but it was about just using Google Maps to figure out how many miles of railroads we have in Webster Groves, and then the two different companies that operate those lines, and then trying to get them to give me this information, like what kind of fuel the trains run on and how much. And so for each of the utilities, you know, I basically send them a request for data. So like for Ameren, it's requesting, you know, how many kilowatts are used for the residential sector, commercial sector, industrial sector. You know, we don't have any agricultural here, but that's a little bit of how the greenhouse gas inventory works. But we hope to have it finished early summer, I would say. And then we'll create a big report and yeah, so it's in progress. It's nothing too exciting, you know, it's talking a lot about therms and kilowatts and crunching numbers and really just trying to get utilities. It's not, you know, at this point, it's not a request that utilities get frequently. So it takes them a while to come up, you know, it's not in anyone's scope of responsibilities. It's not a normal request. So
it just takes a while, to get the data, but it's in process and we're probably, I'd say we're halfway through collecting data, if not more than halfway. I'm being a little conservative, but, yeah, so it's going on.
I think you have a question from Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hi, does the inventory include energy audits of the city's buildings?
No, it does not include energy audits. Although I do think that's a topic that, you know, that the city should consider in the future, having energy audits done. I think that would be really important. The ClearPath software doesn't, that's more of just getting the hard measurables from the utilities. So it doesn't have any energy audit component.
Okay, thanks.
Sean, what is the baseline year that we're using for this?
Good question. 2022.
Okay,
We started in 2023, and so 2022 was the most recent complete year where we could pull data from, and then just with, you know, normal delays and turnover with grad students, we got delayed a little bit, but 2022.
okay, thanks. John.
Is this the first time we've done greenhouse gas inventory for the city of Webster?
It is.
Okay. So it'd be fair to say then we're not gonna be in a position in this report to say directionally where we're going. Are we getting
This,
better than 5 years ago, worse than 5 years ago?
exactly. This report is to provide benchmark data.
Super. And on the train thing, do you have Amtrak on the list
I have the two companies and,
with the two companies?
okay. I don't want to butcher it.
Okay.
I
But Amtrak's
could-
not one.
I don't think so.
They run a train through.
I know. I don't,
twice a
they
day
may,
Through St. Louis, through Webster.
well, they might, I'm not sure if it's that they contract, I'm not sure, John, but, and we just started diving into this, so they might provide it, but for some reason, I'm thinking that it's more the company that I don't know, the rail industry is fascinating, but I don't know enough about it at this point.
It might be hard to get that data because, I mean, after the crash and there's like a lot of shrouds of secrecy because they have too many trains and there's a lot going on in the train industry. So I imagine it's getting the information might be
Yeah,
tricky.
I can tell you this, I haven't reached out to anyone from rail yet. We're just at this point figuring out, well, who those contacts would be. And then, and they wouldn't even tell me, you know, the precise data for Webster Groves. They would basically give, if they're willing to cooperate, they would give me the fuel that they use. And then we would calculate that based off of how many miles and how many trains run a day on those two tracks that run through Webster.
I bet you Amtrak could be much easier to get info from CSX or whoever private for-profit players are.
Yeah,
I bet
okay.
that would be like that, and they run, like I said, they run the same route every day.
Yeah.
Should be pretty straightforward.
Well, that's a good tip. Thank you.
And ditto, in terms of trains, there's 2 coal trains a day, 114 cars, and they're pretty much like,
Oh, it sounds like you know a lot about this.
I can see the trains.
Well, he
from my
lives by it.
yard. And I know where the trains go, because they go, you drive to the Avenue Power Plant, you'll see 2 of them parked next to the plant.
Maybe next time they're parked, we should just knock on the window.
Right, so, yeah.
What kind of fuel are you using today?
Yeah, and
Thank
you're all
you,
diesel,
thank you.
but I mean, you want to obviously check,
Yeah.
but
I agree, it may be difficult to get any information from the railroads.
Yeah, we'll see. Rail was one of at our list of utilities, obviously Ameren and Spire, the ones that, you know, those were the low hanging fruit that I reached out to first. And so now we're getting to the one-offs that are a little bit more tricky, but thank you. I might reach out to you later
yeah.
for some more insight.
Going back to the school issue, University of Michigan just put out a study. Well, it was about diesel school buses, but I think it'd be equivalent for diesel trains that. If a kid rides a diesel bus to school versus an electric bus, you can see the difference in academic achievement. Couple days ago.
Wow.
But that's. That might be an interesting way to frame the issue.
Yeah, interesting. Also, there was some exciting news recently that there's been some new, technology, new satellites. Have you guys heard about the methane satellites? Yeah, so in the future, years from now, hopefully, you know, that might help Webster Groves. But, new satellites are able now to track methane emissions and where they're coming from. So it'll be, yeah, it's very exciting in the environmental world right now.
One other question on, are you looking at the school buses that drive the kids to school in Webster?
You know what? No.
They're diesel, they're unhealthy for the children. You should put that on your list and see, and there's a lot of federal money going into electrifying school buses.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would think again, since it's impacting Webster children, the community interest might be high on that compared to some of the more.
Yeah.
School buses are really, school buses are really, prime candidate for electrification because
Yeah.
this is totally the side, but in Minnesota, they were even talking about because you're operating the school buses 9 months out of the year, and you're not running them in the summertime. Is parking all those school buses in a big lot, and you've got a giant grid scale battery that you can use to store and deploy energy when the buses aren't working. So I mean, it's some really neat cutting edge stuff down the road.
Also, you said it was University of Michigan that did that study?
I get forwarded to.
Yeah, that would be super.
Okay, thanks, Sean. All right, old business. We had the solar open house on March the 3rd. Gosh, it seems like it was longer ago than 3 weeks. I think everyone there thought we had a real success. I thought attendance was good. I don't know if we have I don't think we had a sign-in sheet. Do we have a sign? I know we had name tags, but, so I don't
We
know.
didn't have a sign-in sheet.
Look at this picture, see how many people are in there.
I think there was at least 50 people throughout
Yeah.
the day,
Yeah.
throughout the event.
And
Really good
I know,
turnout.
Eric with Straight Up Solar said it's one of the best events of that type he's been to, so I think that was good.
Yeah.
They had their
Nice.
person there who could, and I know I saw them doing this for several attendees, doing, evaluations of their people's homes for.
It's pulling up like.
Yeah.
I said,
Right.
in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I talked to him and he said he had, well, it looked like it. He had a continuous stream of people in a line standing there waiting to talk to him.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, they do a number of these things, so I think, that was, really good feedback. And just, I feel like I met people who were really interested in sustainability, who lived in Webster, who I hadn't interacted with before, so. And I thought it was helpful to, I know several people, attended Eco Ed after that, so I think it was
Yeah,
a good way of kind of cross-marketing ourselves, but all in all, I thought it was a really good event, and hopefully we'll see some traction in terms of solar rebate applications.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Eric did share that, there was a lot of interest and enthusiasm among Webster, which was great to see. Although one of the things that makes Webster so beautiful and unique is our robust tree canopy.
Yeah.
So,
right.
yeah, I don't know how,
Yeah.
if any came
Right.
out from the day, but also Ameren was there and able to talk about their community solar program, which is also so important
cool.
to be able to share and
Right.
and educate folks on. So hopefully some people that unfortunately found out they were not candidates for panels, learned that they could still participate and encourage
Right.
solar.
And I did,
power.
I did talk to Eric, and because I'd seen some data nationally that residential solar installations were down quite a bit last year, which with all the incentives kind of made me price trends, I scratched my head, but he explained that their business has seen a big shift from residential to business, partially because of what's going on in Illinois. with state legislation encouraging solar. But also, and I didn't think of this, he said the interest rate environment, the higher
Oh.
interest rates are really,
Cramping.
right, it's really lengthening the payback time for solar. So hopefully we get a little easy one on that front and people can take advantage of the rebates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did my neighbor from North Forest show up?
Yes, yes. Well, remind me his name. I know.
I don't know, I just
I've
knocked
talked
on
to
his
him for a while.
door.
Yeah, yeah,
First time, so.
yeah, no, he was,
He was
He was-
really.
I know he's a
yeah.
good, my understanding
I
he's a
think he
good
stayed,
Yeah.
he stayed the entire, I think the entire
Was that
time.
that couple?
No,
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 I
Oh,
was like
okay.
a single guy.
Oh, right,
We had
yeah.
an identical,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
neighbors where we both had like a. Buying my house from? We both had pools, and we both had our solar because, you know, when the pool like gets rid of all the trees, so you got plenty of room then. I was like, oh yeah, I got this stupid pool too.
I did forget about a couple important things mentioned, by the way.
Sure.
Next Tuesday is election day
Oh,
and Prop W and our charter amendments are on the ballot. And as you know, Prop W is important for us to move forward many parks and recreation projects, and many of those are sustainability related, solar panels. So that is important to get out to vote, recommend to your neighbors if they vote, that's important, and then we also have the charter amendments that are happening, and both, there's access to educational videos and posts and links on Facebook and on the signs, so.
Right.
And council is available if you know anybody in the last minute that would like to have some people come attend and speak about it. We are available, book to talk to the neighborhood or any special interest groups. I attended the hockey group a couple weeks ago. That was good. They had a great turnout and they are really excited about the possibilities. I had another point related to that. So yeah,
okay. Then the other event that we, I guess, co-hosted was the Eco Ed series. And Karen, do you feel like giving us a quick rundown?
Oh, sure. I don't know how my voice is going to hold up, but it was great. We had there were 25 people who showed up, which it looked like a nice full room, so that was good. Malachi Rain gave a fantastic presentation, and there were a lot of people who were engaged and asking questions. So I think that it went really well. We have what's coming up next is the presentation. Next one is Green Spaces. It's on April 17th. It's not on the first Tuesday because that's Arbor Day. We're doing an Arbor Day celebration in the park, and then there'll be the tree awards, and then there'll be a walk in the park starting at 5:30. So that will be the Eco Ed event for April. In
that's what day?
April 17th.
Southwest Park.
In Southwest. Oh, perfect.
You're back
Right.
here.
right there.
Yeah,
Hosted at my house. There we go.
so that one ought to be really,
That's what
really
we're
fun
gonna say.
too. And I'll be out of town, so I won't be able to be there, but I don't think that Green Space will need any help setting that one up.
Okay,
The next one after that is May 7th, and that is back at the library. That's Don Corrigan, who was instrumental in getting our article published in the Webster Kirkwood Times. He wrote the article, he made sure it got in there. It was a really, I hope you all saw it because he did a great job. He asked both Carrie and I to fill out these questionnaires and ended up just chunking material that, the things that were quoted by us were chunks of material out of the questionnaires that he filled out, which seemed a little, well, it was interesting the way, I'm not sure those things would have come out of my mouth the same way, but there they were. But anyway, I hope that you all can attend that, and I could use some help setting up. The room, the library room is always set up with tables and chairs, and we have to go in and move the tables and get the chairs configured. And if I can get somebody there at 6:30 to help set up on May 7th, that would be great. And then the other ones that we have also, they are all on the first Tuesdays. There'll be one in June, which I think is, now I don't have the paper in front of me, so I don't want to misspeak. But one of them is Nicole Strutman Miller from Webster U. She'll be talking about pollinators. I'm pretty sure that's the June talk. So, and we'll be taking a break in July and August. One of the things I wanted to say, our guest, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. But in front of the slide presentations for, and this is for everyone, in front of the slide presentations and in front of the deck for each event, we have informational slides that we can put up. We can put up, and we put up notices of events that are going on. Green Space had several slides in this presentation about activities and events they have going on. So if anyone has a PowerPoint slide that you want us to insert into the deck for announcements, we would be happy to do that. And I was thinking of the announcement about the kids doing the plastics. It's going to be too late for Webster on Wheels because that's the 5th and this presentation is the 7th. And it's too bad we didn't have it for this last one. But we can do that. We can put slides in the slide decks.
Thanks, Karen. All right, let's go on to new business. And the first item is the Earth Day bag distribution. And I believe we had talked about trying to get volunteers for, it's the Saturday of Earth Day weekend, which is the.
I think it was April 20th.
Yeah, I think 20th.
Yes, April 20th.
Okay, so the Saturday would be 18th, correct? No.
Oh,
today.
sorry, no, the Saturday is
20th.
20th.
Yes. So we're trying to, and I think it was at Straub's, was it 10 or 10:30? I don't have that in front of me.
So he said like show up sometime between 10:30 and 11, and then
Okay.
he didn't really give an end time.
Right.
It seemed kind of like open-ended. And then Freddy's was 1 to 2. So
Okay.
it would be great if we could get at least 2 people at each location. And I think we can just do an hour at Straub's. We could do 11 to 12 and then 1 to 2 at Freddy's.
Okay, that works great. I will try to, I meant to do this before today's meeting, but I'll try to get out an email that folks can sign up. But if you're willing to put in an hour, either 11 to 12 at Straub's, or was it 1 to 2 at Freddy's? It'd be much appreciated, just handing out green bags, hopefully displacing all the plastic bags.
Mhm.
Do
And I
we
think-
also still have the like that
that.
two-sided one-page handout
Go to Freddy's.
that we were giving out with the bags?
I don't know.
Yeah, there is.
Okay, we do have handouts.
Yeah, there is supposed to be the educational component for the grants.
Yeah,
And I believe that there are boxes that go along with that. In fact, I have both box of bags and the pamphlets in my home.
Okay.
Just never seem to go away. But yeah, so you're supposed to hand out a pamphlet with the bag to fulfill the grant requirement.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Make sure to bring those along. So just anybody think if they have an hour to give on the 20th would be much appreciated. Karen,
Unless we have a game.
Yeah, before that, on the 14th, that Sunday before that, we talked about the Healthy Living Expo that's going on at the rec center. And putting up a table there, giving out bags and having all sorts of informational flyers about what we have going on. We have we can put our solar stuff out there. We can put our eco-ed stuff out there. Webster on Wheels, that could go out. So that table, I'm intending to set it up on April the 14th.
Okay, great.
Again, it would be really nice if somebody was able to show up and help out. But I'm willing to table that event. It's from
Okay.
10 to 4. And
Great.
so if anybody can help me out, let me know. I'll be there and I'll just need to gather materials. And I guess I need some of those pamphlets to go along with the bags. We handed them out at the Eco Ed series. I had no idea there was anything that was supposed to go with the bags. So we'll need that and anything else. If we have any promotional materials for Webster on Wheels, I can put that out also.
Great, thank you. All right, let's, we'll go down to Webster on Wheels, and I don't know, Paul or Dave, if you wanna give us an update.
You've got Dave there, who's the master of the event. But so what I would say is we've supported the event the last couple of years, kind of been sort of co-sponsored it, and that involves having a table set up on the blacktop, and then done various other things. I've provided tried to provide sort of healthy snacks rather than you know, packaged cookies and things like that. I think you know, from my perspective, we'd be trying to sort of help in the same way this year. I'm committed to being there all day. I think, as I mentioned last month, you know, it'd be great if, and again, I know there's a lot of asking for volunteers here, but it'd be great if anyone else can give an hour or two or more on the day. I think it'd be great if we could have a table set up. I think more importantly, and I think, you know, Dave could you know, speak to this, is just, you know, really trying to drum up interest for the event and get more people out there. We didn't have great attendance last year, and there was a bunch of reasons for that. It was 95 degrees, there was stormy weather during the week. And then, you know, I think there's sort of this post-COVID lag as well that contributed to that. But it would, you know, with the bike to school day that Dave already talked about on the Friday before, and May being sort of National Bike Month, I think there's sort of avenues to promote this. So I just encourage people to be involved themselves and just, you know, publicize it as much as possible. The more people, the more fun the event is. And Dave, anything else you want to say there? I should be at the meeting, the planning meeting on this Thursday evening, and if I could sort of, anyone else that would like to attend that, I think would be welcome. Is that fair to say, Dave?
Yeah, our next team meeting is this Thursday, 7 o'clock. That's March 28th at Llewellyn's. Beers are on me. We should have another great meeting. Yeah. I mean, we strive, thanks to Paul and Amna and Jamie in the beginning. You know, we strive to make Webster on Wheels now a 100% sustainable event, which it wasn't for years. I mean, you know, we have plastic straws and cups and everything, you know, but now we're striving for no plastic at all. Refillable bike bottles. I mean, everything's refillable, no waste, and as Paul was saying, you know, healthy snacks. You know, refill your bike bottle at the rest station and stuff, but no disposable anything, no trash. And the thing with attendance, we have averaged since 2009, 300 to 350 bikers a year. We were off 2020 and 2021 because of COVID. So we came back in 2022, and it was, as Paul said, it was slow to come back. And we knew attendance was going to be kind of down. But last year was our worst year of attendance, and the reason is because there was threat of a major thunderstorm on Sunday, which alleviated on Saturday, which was great. It cleared up. But Sunday, it was 95 degrees, extremely high humidity. And the thing on the Bristol Blacktop, there's no shade.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, you know, who wants to ride a bike 6 miles? And it was just ugly. And it was sweaty. And I think we had maybe 100 bikers, you know, if that many. But after the bikers came in, we always have a show about the St. Louis Sprockets, and they're a bike stud and jump team. They do ramps and stuff, really great show. But like instead of the audience on the blacktop, they were all against the back of the gym because that's where the shade was. I mean, it was just ugly. And so the current forecast for May 5th, it's an early one, is 70 degrees, partly sunny. I'm looking at it every day because that'll make a big, big difference. And we've always let down on the weather except for last year. It was just unfortunate, but we're hoping that with good weather and stuff, we'll have a good turnout again. It's the only community bike ride event in Webster every year, and the hub is our other big partner, obviously, and they just do a great job.
You said your next meeting is on Thursday.
Thursday at Llewellyn, 7:00.
Whenever you guys are finished with the information, will you send it out? Cause I know like
Yes.
for Clark, they
Yeah.
start putting their newsletter together
Sure.
really early. So the sooner we can get it in the newsletter, the more times parents can see it,
Mhm.
which makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I don't look at every newsletter, but I.
Oh,
every once in a while I look.
And this week I'll be sending out our first market calendar, save the date,
Yeah,
kind of flyer, official flyer, and I'll be sure you get it.
Perfect. Perfect.
cool.
Great, thank you for the update.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess all we're have left is to confirm our next meeting date, which is Monday, April 15th.
Mhm.
Tax day. File your taxes and come on down to the city hall.
Can I ask a question, Jeff?
Yeah, sure.
Should have got a drink after that one.
And I'm sorry, I know I'm just a visitor, but I'm a 24-year resident. We recycle and all that stuff, and I've got 6 kids, I got 10
Wow.
grandkids, and they're very environmentally aware. But my question is from a broad scale community standpoint, in terms of participation, it seems to me like recycling is something that kind of basically caught on. See, everybody kind of recycles, and it's a widespread thing. If you had to pick one, what's the next recycling activity that has the potential to really engage large members of the community so that they do it regularly? And I don't know what that is.
I'll tell you what I think it is.
Pardon me?
I'll tell you what I think it is.
What do you think it is?
The black things, bins you can put in your backyard to compost.
I was gonna say.
I was gonna say that.
It's also maybe compost in the backyard.
Well, like I compost, all my food compost goes into that
Really?
and in my leaves. And it works like a charm. And then a couple times the city's done a program where the city pays for and provides free bins to people, but. And I
That was
don't,
recent, that was pretty recent.
It's actually, quite a while.
21.
No, before that. 'Cause that was right when I came on the commission, which was a while ago.
Oh, well, I picked up mine on 21.
Well, we
Maybe that
had,
was a-
we
We had
had,
extras.
yeah.
Yeah, so
We
there was
did-
a second push on it.
Right,
Probably.
yeah. In fact, there were still extras. And so last fall I was reaching out to the schools and trying to give them out to the schools and, Mr. Hayes at Hickson took a couple. But
Does
he was,
anybody need a compost bin for their backyard? I might have one or two.
There you go. Or do the schools have them? Do the schools have compost
That's a
bins?
good question.
Well,
Because when I was teaching, we did, and
That's
like
an
you had to
interesting
teach
idea.
them, like you scrape, and they learned.
I was just hard though, cause like we
It's hard.
composted in our backyard and when I pulled the compost out and put it in my plants, and I got a bunch of dead cat mushrooms. So you had to have it exactly right. But now we send our compost off to be done by somebody who is
Yeah.
more.
I was gonna say
professional
the
than we
other
are.
thing is Clark did, just.
Yeah.
They put your stuff to be donated and they put out bins and it's just like, instead of just throwing it out, like, let's.
I like it for donations.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So instead of your stuff at home, your old toys, your old clothes, your old, whatever. They had certain days and this is the day we're gonna collect it and take it. And it
Okay,
was
now
at
what
the
about-
elementary
Now,
school.
what about just a more basic thing, which is whenever you ask people, what do you like about Webster roads? Near the top of the list is walkability.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, as an observer and a 24-year resident here, I don't know if people walk any more on Webster roads than any place else. But if people did walk more and cut down on cars, because on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, not all the restaurants are packed, but there are cars all over the place. And it's like, if we just walked a little more,
Mhm.
that's a sustainable activity, obviously, and it cuts down driving, cuts down fossil, I mean,
I
gas
think they
emissions.
talk about that being one of the things of small cities where you can walk to all the things, one of the things that's gonna save the planet because.
think that's
it
There
cuts
you go.
down on the
Yeah,
carbon
absolutely.
And that's something you could do every day.
And you can do it and it's good exercise.
Yeah.
It's good recreation. I mean,
That's great. There you
And we
go.
have been working on this.
Yeah.
okay.
Make it
yeah.
more walk, yeah, we've done many rounds
Definitely
of
goal.
walk,
Oh, good.
bikeable and safety and.
Sorry, I just had that.
No, of course.
Quick follow-up, if the city still has some of these things, maybe Karen, you wanna do a eco-ed series on how to properly use a backyard composter. Because I think one barrier for people might be, geez, I don't know
Sure.
how to do it, what can go in, what doesn't go in, how often do I need to turn it, yada, yada, yada.
Sounds like a good topic for next year.
Good, there you
Right.
go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's-
I have one question on the compost. I have one of those from the city provided. Does anyone else have the issue where raccoons have figured out how to open it by turning the top? That is an issue, and I've tried, they figured out how to get it open, which is kind of funny.
That's funny.
That's astonishing.
Raccoons are very.
They are so smart.
They're strong
You know,
too,
trash
because they
can,
can,
they get-
they can take those blades
Grab
of
my
the
fish
turbines in
out
your
there.
attic and
Yeah.
just go,
Uh-huh.
and get right in.
They are smart.
I've never had raccoons mess with my bin for what it's worth.
I'll have to
And
figure
I've
out.
had trouble getting it off myself, so I guess I'm not quite as smart as.
Well, you can borrow a beagle and that'll help.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 o'clock, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Just before we adjourn, this is actually my last meeting, so I just wanted to say thank you guys for all of your time and commitment that you've given to sustainability, and I think our team is really moving in the right direction, so
Yes.
I'm gonna move on to different pastures.
Thank you. Thank you for your work and your service.
Yeah.
Andy, for what it's worth as an outsider, I think your commission is awesome. And I think what you guys are doing is so needed. So keep up the good work.
I'll motion to adjourn.
And you guys
Thank you.
will all one.
All in favor?
Okay.
All
Hi.
right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you. I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Uh,
Public announcements.
Perfect.
You were. Well, me scoop really,
Oh,
because I was
good.
able to like fashion it into a real.
Yeah, so-
Five.
You heard about this program